नारायण अंकल तव्हां म्यूट ते आओ। नारायण अंकल तव्हां म्यूट ते आओ।
जय झूलेलाल, हरिओम एंड नमस्ते सभिनीनि खे। दादूजान हांगकांग एंड सिंधी हेरिटेज फाउंडेशन प्रेजेंटिंग संस्कार। अॼु असांजो ही 42 एपिसोड आहे ऐं दादा श्री दयाल हरजाणी एवरी टाइम कुझु न कुझु अहिड़ो नओं विषय खणी ईंदा आहिनि जेको माण्हू खे संस्कार ॾे या सिहत ॾे। त अॼु जो जेको ही एपिसोड आहे उन्हनि स्पेशली कयो आहे माइंड, बॉडी एंड स्लीप। चवंदा आहिनि कि अगरि तव्हां 8 कलाक निंड कंदा त तव्हां हरदम सेहतमंद रहंदा। त उन जे बारे में अॼु जो ही क्वेश्चन आंसर सेशन है। बोलते हैं कि कम से कम 8 घंटा नींद आदमी को सेहतमंद बनाती है। तो आज का ये एपिसोड जो है माइंड, बॉडी और स्लीप के ऊपर है। उसके बारे में आज हमारे बीच में जो विद्वान आए हैं डॉक्टर अनीता दासवाणी। आई वेलकम डॉक्टर अनीता दासवाणी। बिफोर आई वेलकम दादा दयाल एन हरजाणी एंड मैं उनसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि आज का पूरा काम वो संभाले। श्री दयाल हरजाणी दादा, हरिओम।
हरिओम हरिओम।
एक क्वेश्चन पूछने का था। आप दुनिया से कोने कोने से इतने विद्वान आदमी कहाँ से ढूंढ के आते हैं?
कहाँ से ढूंढ के आते हैं?
और सेकंड चीज,
गुड क्वेश्चन। आई डोंट नो,
आप जो सब्जेक्ट चुनते हैं ना, दैट इज बेनिफिशियल टू पब्लिक।
करेक्ट। जॾहिं इंसान खे शेवा जो भाव थींदो आहे त पाण ई अपॉर्चुनिटी प्रगट थींदी आहे। सो मन सफ़ा ऐं बाक़ी दवा दिल करे साफ़ तो ईश्वर करे माफ़। त इन हिसाब सां जेको बि असां संकल्प कंदा आहियूं त फुलफिल थी वेंदो आहे। That answers your question, and then people come by themselves. You get natural attraction for that.
Right.
Samjho?
Yeah.
So now I'd like to welcome all the viewers with Hari Om and Jhulelal to all of you. Today we have a very interesting subject lined up for all of you, especially people who suffer from insomnia and have some stress problems. So we are going to discuss in detail by way of question and answers. Today our guest of honor is Anita Daswani. A little bit of her introduction. She has been practicing homeopathy since 1981 and under the auspice of Dr. Rashid Wadia until 1996. And since 1996, she has branched out on her own. She has had 30 years of experience and she has treated and cured many patients with a very good incidence of success. The beauty of her work is her compassion for the underprivileged. When she treats ex gratis and provides free consultancy to several charitable organizations. Thank you, Anita. Keep on doing that work. It's a good work. Anita has been empaneled medical consultancy with several international banks like Standard Chartered, Citibank, and amongst Indian, she has empaneled Indian banks like SBI. So besides her different distinctions and accolades, she continues to be a member of Hahnemann Medical Society, Philadelphia. So let me welcome Anita with our traditional Kabir Doha. Anita, can you hear me? I would like to welcome you today with our usual traditional Kabir Sahib Doha, which goes like this. दुर्लभ मानस जन्म है, दुर्लभ मानस जन्म है, मिले ही न तो फिर बार, मिले ही न दूजित बार, पक्का फल जो गिर पड़िए, पक्का फल जो गिर पड़िए, लागे न दूजित बार. So the message is very clear and self-explanatory that rare is the gift of human birth, a chance that never comes again. We don't know. It can never come another time in the same form or the same circumstances. Just as a ripe fruit falls, it can never rejoin again a second time. So the idea is that we should make use of this human birth. मिलियो जेको जनम मिलियो आहे, बंदा तो जो भाग खुलियो आहे, सिंधी में चवंदा आहिनि न हिकिड़ो सत्संग आहे हुन ते. So with this, I will now invite the other panel speakers. Today we have three panel speakers. One is Sandeep Lagu, who is a breathing therapist, wellness consultant, body and mind coach with an experience of 40 years of teaching yoga, breathwork, and meditation. He has been guiding students all over the globe and conducting online courses successfully. Then we have second panel speaker, Sonia Banwani from Bangkok, but currently she is in Dubai. And she is a homemaker, social worker, and past president of Lions Club in Bangkok. Welcome, Sonia, to us. To our
झूलेलाल जय झूलेलाल.
program, and let us make the most of this program. And lastly, here we have none other than Anita Bumray, who does not need any further introduction because it's not the first time she's come, and she's always there to make this every show a success. So, without much ado, I will request Sandeep Lagu to first initiate this program with him, the first four questions allotted to Sandeep. On to Sandeep.
Namaskar. Very good evening to you all. And good evening to Dr. Daswani. Good evening, Dayalji. Thank you for a very good and kind introduction. My first question to you, Doctor, it might be a silly question. Please forgive me. But why it is that homeopaths ask several questions, some being very personal? How does that help? Like, whenever you go to this homeopathy doctor, they ask too many questions.
So thank you so much, Mr. Dayal and the whole team at SANSKAARS. This is indeed a very enlightening kind of show, very interactive. So thank you for this opportunity. And Sandeep ji, I don't think any question is silly. So, it's always nice that people express their doubts and concerns. Answering your questions, so homeopathy is a lot to do with the mind and body, the unison of mind and body. And we believe that all ailments arise when there is an imbalance, so like we say, when, the mind is sad, the body weeps, so that's exactly what our theory is. So it's very important to know the overall condition of an individual. Therefore, we literally probe as much as we can, as much as the patient is able to kind of express himself or herself. We need to understand that what is the state of mind the individual is in. And from that, we can accordingly get pointers and individualize the remedy that is required for the individual's disease, ailment, whatever he or she may suffer. So it's just a myth or a thing that people say, oh, it takes very long. But once you interact, our first consultation is long because we get into the not only the present history, but we like to know what is the past history. We like to know the whole journey of an individual, right from childhood to adolescence, marriage, pre-children, post-children, till whatever. So hence, it does take a little time, but it's worth every bit.
Lovely, lovely. See, I'm conducting yoga classes from past 40 years, and I have Ayurvedic doctors, I have allopathy doctors, I have homeopathy doctors. They come to teach yoga, and I always interact with them. I ask them, particularly allopathy doctor, do you believe in mind, or the Ayurvedic doctor or the homeopathy doctor? My first question is, if these all diseases are psychosomatic disorders, then why don't you give medicine to the mind first? Like, for example, diabetes, hypertension. So, my question here to Dr. Daswani is, what kind of mental disorders can homeopathy treat? Do you give medicine to the mind?
Absolutely. So that's exactly what we do. Uh, in the first instance, like our medicines, we don't even call them medicines. We call them homeopathic remedies. So these remedies are very individualized and we give it, it's literally like made to order. So therefore, our first thing is treating the mind. Now, in lot of cases, like say, like you spoke of diabetes, now we need to understand, is the diabetes stress related? Is it hereditary? Is it lifestyle induced? And accordingly, once we know what, sometimes it's even drug induced. A lot of people post COVID have developed diabetes. So we like to get into the etiology or the so-called cause of that particular disease. Accordingly, we put the mind, we put the manifestations which are seen in the physical body, we club the two and then we derive at a particular remedy. So again, to re-emphasize that we are actually treating the mind, we're treating the body more through the mind. So the mind is the actual vehicle which is helping the whole physical body.
Right, right. As rightly said, your body is your visible mind, and your
Absolutely.
mind is your invisible body. Now, in my class, I
Absolutely.
always teach the difference between madness and meditation. So, my
Correct.
third question is very close to madness. What about the conditions like bipolar disorders, schizophrenia? Can homeopathy cure these also? And what neurological conditions can homeopathy help? Right?
Talking of bipolar and schizophrenia, again, it depends on the acuteness or the chronicity of the condition. To be very honest, it's a little difficult to, I mean, this is my opinion and my experience. These conditions are very unpredictable. So it's a little difficult to kind of control it immediately. But cases of long-standing depression, cases of early Alzheimer's, cases of early Parkinson's, cases of early stroke, also Bell's palsy, which is a very commonly heard of condition, facial palsy, uh, diabetic patients suffer from neuralgic disorders. So all these conditions, okay, sleep disorders, insomnia, phobias, fears, I also specialize in treating children with developmental disabilities, children who are on the autistic spectrum, children suffering from ADHD. So these are the varied, conditions which homeopathy, and I would say in my practice particularly, touch would have seen very good results.
Wow, nice. And I have this question again. Does homeopaths use steroids? As they say, homeopathy is very slow, and we heard friends seeing pretty quick results with homeopathy treatment. So it is like a
Again, yeah, no, this is one of the very common questions, and again, it's a myth. I think anybody of repute will not indulge in all these things. So you see, this doubt or this food for thought has come in because people from conventional medicine, with due respect to them, they are not as knowledgeable So they always feel, oh, like, this person has got food poisoning. How can it be that in 2 doses he's fine? Somebody's got migraine, and in a single dose, actually speaking, what a paracetamol does not do, our homeopathic remedies have done it. So,
Yeah.
people often wonder that, how can, like, they have this thing that homeopathy is very slow, it's a very long drawn process, but it's not true. We've advanced over the years. We use higher potencies, which give almost instantaneous results. So it's totally untrue. Of course, I mean, benefit of doubt. There's contamination in every field. Forget only doctors or forget only medicine. But overall, this is not true.
I have a quick spontaneous question, my friends. Uh, Men's health. Since the topic is on body, mind, and sleep, men's after 50s and 60s, they have this a particular problem of frequent urination in the night. So, do you have any solution? Because it disturbs your sleep. Some men they have to wake up 2 3 times. Then it all disturbs your sleep, and once you wake up, you don't go back to that deep sleep once again. And I believe one should get 8 hours of good quality meditative sleep. So, would you say something on this sleep disorder because of some physiological disorder, probably?
So one of the reasons could be enlarged prostate, which is again, due to age. I mean, it's age related. Besides, of course, some underlying infections. It's very common after the age of 40, 45, and it's very treatable with homeopathic remedies. So that is one of the reasons. And also there could be various other reasons, what we call midlife crisis, again, some underlying stress, some underlying, some traumatic experience. So what happens is that like you said, the subconscious or the unconscious mind, when you're sleeping, but that's when that part of the brain or the mind is awake, and all the anxiety starts surfacing up at that time. So therefore, it's a very common feature that, you tend to develop this frequency of micturition or urination more in the night. So it's not only men, we've seen a lot of women also complaining of the
Oh,
same thing. And I would like to correct you here that, of course, everybody says 8 hours of sleep, but I personally feel that even a 6 hours or a 5, 6 hour quality sleep is what is important. Sleeping for 8, 9 hours and being very restless, and you're turning and twisting and tossing is not sleep. But quality sleep, and you get up feeling refreshed. So that is important.
Very good. Thank you so much, Sandeep ji. And I really enjoyed this session of yours because you're
Yes,
one of the few speakers who have kept the answers very crisp and to the point, not deviated. And I
Very
really
good.
admire you for that. So I
thank
will now request our, what's her
Anita.
name, Anita ji, to
There are too many of
ask
us today.
the questions.
you. Two
Thank
to
you.
tango.
Two to tango.
Okay, Anita, you're
Good
on.
evening. Jai Jhulelal ji. Good evening, Dr. Daswani. Dr. I didn't really pick up. Where are you actually working out of now? Are you based in India?
Yes,
You
I'm
are.
in India,
Right.
and my practice is in South Bombay.
Oh, that's wonderful. So basically, we'll keep it India centric because my very important question to you would be right now the thing that's plaguing all of us across the world, and that's COVID. What is your personal take on it? You've probably got your own COVID story, like we all do. But personally, what is your take on COVID? How do you view it? And then, as a doctor, what would you recommend with treatments?
So, I mean, the pandemic has hit everybody, I would say.
Yes,
A tiny microscopic organism has shaken, I would say, the whole planet.
That's
to
right.
be honest. I mean, fortunate are those who have not been infected or contacted the virus. I just feel, I think this is just nature's ways of kind of, again, maybe I'm a little spiritually inclined. So again,
No,
this is my own
yes,
version
yes.
that I think too much interference with nature, we need to kind of, introspect and say that, okay, these are our limitations. Anything and everything cannot be scientifically monitored or controlled. I genuinely think this is nature's ways of, creating that impediment. A lot of, I think all of us have had the time to introspect. All of us have, it's been a speed breaker in every individual's life. I mean, there are pros, there are cons. Okay. Talking of the pandemic, I think it has now moved into the endemic stage, which I mean, at least things are now understandable, treatable. We can manage the condition. It's not what it used to be, and fingers crossed that it. I hope this just continues the way it is, and of course, I mean, again, I people say it's gone, but I
Yeah.
totally disagree.
Yeah. So
It
have
is
you
there.
actually?
We need to be cautious. We need to,
Yeah,
let's not pull our guards completely down.
I
Let's
agree.
see,
Yeah.
let's tread a little cautiously more.
Okay. So cases wise, have you had a caseload come in when it comes to COVID cases across the table with you? Have you had
Yes.
cases and obviously positive outcomes come out of it?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. And the irony is that I've treated a lot of post-COVID cases.
Okay.
It's so ironic, yeah. Uh, so again, there has been lot of post-COVID conditions, like I mentioned earlier, right from diabetes to hypertension, blood pressure,
Right.
cholesterol levels, going up. A lot
Right.
of individuals have been suffering from IBS, which is irritable bowel
Yes.
syndrome. Metabolism has been affected to a great extent.
Right.
Again, a lot of mental, phobias, fears, deep down anxieties, insecurities. A
Right.
lot of people have lost their jobs, this whole work from home culture. It has its pluses, but there are a lot of people who are unable to continue this, people who are not so privileged and have just, a one room house find it very difficult to consider. There's been a lot of frustration, right from children to, to working people, working parents. I've seen a lot of cases, and it's been really sad. It's been, honestly, when you hear stories and when you hear of all this, it's like you can't imagine, the condition and the trauma that they've actually gone through.
Endured. But are we talking? We spoke a lot
Uh,
about post cases, but have you been able to treat people who've actually had COVID and come to you
Yes,
directly instead of?
yes.
Anita, can I intervene here?
Absolutely.
Anita, just one minute. We have received a question from the audience.
Yeah.
She wishes to know what is the quality sleep and how to get it without medication.
Without medication.
So, can you, Dr. Anita, answer this on the floor?
Sure. Good question. So quality sleep is again a little relative. Like I said, we don't go by the so-called 8 hours of sleep is what does an individual good. I again say that it is the quality of sleep. So, we have what is called sleep hygiene or what we call sleep etiquette, and I think the first thing that is very important is that we need to disconnect ourselves from any digital device, and which is of course our handphones. I've always kind of, counseled and told patients that whatever you want to do, I mean, sit up, Take a bigger screen, use an iPad, use your monitor, do what you want, even if it's 12 and 1 in the night. But the minute you get to sleep, kindly disconnect. You need to draw that line. We need to get into the sleep mode, and I'm sure Sandeep ji will agree with this, that you need to get into the mode of sleep. Like in yoga, we say yog nidra. We need to disconnect, hear some soft music, avoid watching television. I mean, at one point of time, my confession, like you get addicted to a particular program, and then, you're just watching it and watching it. And there was this one program, and I remember it just disturbed my sleep to such an extent. And I said, this is a proof of the pudding. Like we tell people, and I need to stop this. So these things are really very important. A nice hot shower, a nice cup of, a hot, I wouldn't say coffee, but even a glass of nice hot, warm water. These are things. And I would also say that if genuinely your sleep is very disturbed, resorting to alternate medicine uh, is definitely worth considering. And there have been cases where initially, the sleep has been so bad or the disturbance has been so bad that it is affecting your routine. So even resorting to a temporary, I don't know whether people would agree with me or doctors from the other field would agree with me, even if it means to take that mild tranquilization, to just get your act together, there's absolutely no harm. But beware that we should not get addicted, because those drugs are very addictive. We should know when to taper it off, and that's where alternate medicine plays a very important role. And also, let me assure you that alternate medicine, talk of yoga, talk of breathing, talk of meditation, these are lifelong. I mean, there's no question of reversal. So once you get into that mode, it only improves your sleep over the years.
Okay. So, do you have anything to say regarding drugs, the sleeping pills that people take? There are
I
many,
would
especially
say
fashion,
it's,
almost
yes,
fashion.
yes, a lot of, I would say nearly 8 out of 10 individuals are on some kind of tranquilizer or sedative. Um, it is, it's definitely an important that we get out of it as soon as we can. uh, like Mr. Lagu was talking of bipolar and schizophrenia, in these conditions, that mild sedation, again, under proper guidance of the physician, may be required. So those are conditions where we should not interfere with. But as far as possible, resort to more natural therapies, which is definitely more long lasting and definitely non addictive. It, I mean, there's no question, there's 100% difference. You function better, your metabolism gets better. It's an overall holistic improvement in an individual.
According to the research that I have done, sleep insomnia is generally caused because of pineal gland deficiency. And according to Swami Shivananda, he says if you chant Om 50 times before you go to sleep, all your problems will be resolved. So this is a matter of experimenting. Sandeep ji, you have a question?
Yeah, I just want to add, as you rightly said, before you go to sleep, if you chant Om, forget Om. Even if you say something gibberish for 10 minutes, which will activate your pineal or pituitary gland, taka, 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 and then you go to sleep, it will definitely help you to improve the quality of your sleep. Or secondly, just sit silently for 15 minutes before you go to sleep. Just watch your breathing, you inhale and you exhale, and it will, initially you might find it difficult. But if you are interested in improving the quality of your sleep, then this 15-minute investment is worth.
Can I say
So it's
something?
better of people to experiment and try it on their own. So, Anita, go ahead with your next questions, please.
I'm going to have to pipe in here to everybody. The question was from a woman. It was answered by both of y'all who are men. As a menopausal woman myself, there are a lot of reasons why there's insomnia. So, Dr. Anita, it's about chanting is one thing and all of that. But let's just take you right back to what we were talking about earlier, which was COVID and homeopathy. Now, can someone come to you with an existing condition, not a post, but condition at that point of time? So we've got all the shortness of breath, we've got the sore throat and whatever, and can you actually help them?
Definitely yes. Again, depending on the individual case. So
Right.
if there are comorbidities, right? Depending on the, it could be hypertension, diabetes,
Right.
asthma, all these other conditions which a patient is already suffering from. So everything again depends on the intensity, but things like say the common symptoms of
Common one. Yes.
shortness of breath and your body aches and
Yes.
all those. I mean, I've treated a lot of cases where
Wonderful.
within a day or two they're definitely better. Fatigue. Homeopathy treats the fatigue very well. And there's long lasting fatigue even after COVID. So those are cases where we have what are called biochemic salts. So basically they restore the whole chemistry of salts, so the whole equation of salts in your body, and it has created magic.
Oh, that's
So
wonderful.
again, like I said, conditions and cases where symptoms are well within, uh, you know, within the frame of treatment. Now if somebody gets into a severe spasm or oxygen levels have really dipped, I mean, then we can't say no, no, just take homeopathy. We need to give the oxygen. So at that time, it is important that the patient be well and the patient is stable. So I always believe in that, and even in my practice, that I just feel what is important is the well-being of the patient. So whatever helps the patient at that given point of time. I don't think medicine and science is competition. We should work hand in hand. We should work together. We need to work as a team and ensure that the individual is at his or her best.
Yeah.
Best functioning mind and body.
Yeah. But see that's wonderful, which is why I asked you where you were practicing out of,
Even coughs,
because yeah,
like they have these terrible coughs,
yeah,
like distressing coughs. That's where homeopathy has
has
really
to.
helped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's wonderful to be a homeopathic doctor in India, mainly because as a government we've recognized homeopathy, which a lot of countries haven't, and still call it a pseudoscience, which it's not because it's got proven
No, I
results
beg to
again and
differ.
again. Yeah.
I
So it's
beg to
wonderful.
differ. I
No, I
honestly,
grew up with homeopathy, so in India, and it's
good.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
No, but all over now, Anita, let me correct you here. I think the world is opened up. I mean, homeopathy for itself has originated in Germany. We
Yes.
have medicines. We have one of our biggest pharmacies in London. I mean, we have, Mr. Dayal had told me, like, there's so many doctors. I have patients, from all across who reach out because they realize, and I can see the difference over the years. The acceptance has been tremendous.
Increase.
I mean, there's a lot of difference,
Now let's
and
just
I,
hope that
yeah,
governments recognize it too. And like I do know that there are certain countries in Europe that actually you can avail of your social security system and your medical health with homeopathy.
right,
That's a wonderful thing. So, Dr.
yes.
Anita, where you've been and how much you've practiced over the abundance of years, has there been like a common or a couple of cases that you've treated a lot more of than the other? Do you find people coming back with a certain type that, oh, homeopathy is going to be the way for us? Has there been something like that?
Yes, should I use the word favorite?
Go on then.
So it's a lot of skin allergies,
Ah,
IBS,
right.
uh, a lot of PCOS.
Yes.
It's changed. I mean, the incidence of PCOS
Has
is
increased.
like, I would say,
Yeah.
7 out of 10 young girls are now diagnosed with PCOS. And again, it's lifestyle, sedentary lifestyle, lack of
Right.
exercise, everybody's in the gym mode, but we need to get out. You need to
Mm,
exercise. You need to be in the open. You need to meditate. You need to kind of, adapt these kind of few exercises, yoga postures, and I think
mm,
exercise is one of the things which can really help in. I mean, I've treated a lot of PCOS cases,
right.
and yeah, post sonography cysts have gone. So
Mm.
that's again one of my favorites. Also, special needs. I'm just very
I
fond of
was
children,
thinking, yeah.
and I just kind of, so I am a consultant with couple of NGOs and schools for special needs. I used to be
Right.
a visiting doctor to the Al Noor School in Dubai, and it was so fulfilling, because there's so much of innocence there, and there's so many challenges, and we counsel, even the caregivers, the parents, the guardians, and it's like home, like you just develop a different kind of bonding. So I mean, I just really like to help and treat such conditions.
And so you actually put them on a prescribed treatment while
Yes,
you're away?
yes,
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
yes,
Okay.
and definitely been very helpful in attention seeking, hyperactivity, bedwetting. A lot
Wonderful.
of these children get, seizures and convulsions. So that's where homeopathy has definitely proved very beneficial.
Wow, you just opened my mind up completely because I used to go to the homeopathic doctor for tonsillitis and that was it. But this is
Oh,
amazing.
you've taken the words from my mouth, because just yesterday, it's so strange. There was this girl, she couldn't open her mouth, and luckily her mother had taken a picture of her tonsils.
Mm.
Believe you me, I was scared. They were like pus, both
Oh,
it was, the
yeah.
poor girl just couldn't open her mouth. She had done 3 rounds of antibiotics, but it didn't help. And then,
I
of
didn't.
course, we got into the whole thing. And touch wood, today she messages and said she was able to open her mouth. I've taken the picture, and I think we can
Wonderful.
only feebly see 1 or 2 spots. So there
Wonderful.
again, there's no steroid.
Yeah.
There is in almost instant. We can't allow that girl to just suffer in silence and say, "Oh, after a week you're only going to get better." How is she going to move on?
No,
So
I
yeah.
remember it not being slow as a child as well. But yeah, I'm sure Sonia's got questions for you. But I've got one last one if I can quickly squeeze it in.
Uh,
After.
oh, can we
Yeah.
postpone that question? Let
Yes,
Sonia
absolutely.
finish. Let Sonia finish her questioning, and then all the other remnant questions we'll ask later on.
Yes.
Sonia, please go
Yes,
ahead and ask your
good
questions.
evening, Anita. Your answers have been really helpful. Thank you.
So eye-opening.
Okay, I want to ask you, many say homeopathy brings out the disease before it cures. Is that true?
Again, one of the so-called myths, you know, uh, it's not true. I don't think, people should fear that. So, like I said earlier, when the mind is sad, the body weeps. It's literally, that's what it is. A lot of skin conditions, homeopathy has always been considered last. They've gone through the whole rigmarole of taking steroids, taking antibiotics, antifungals, antibacteria, you name it. And then they come with a body which is totally immunosuppressed. So what happens is that because they stopped all treatment, and when we start our treatment, there are times when the eruptions or the so-called rash or irritation may come up, but it comes up. Why? because this has all been suppressed, it's been pushed under the carpet. So here the body is expelling all the toxins. So it's not that the disease has been aggravated, it is happening because the body has already been suppressed with so much of cover with all these kind of medications that we are now treating it from the root, you know. So it's definitely not at all true.
So are these medicines derived from herbs in the lab or naturally?
We have medicines which, have been well tested, proved, tried, tested, recorded, you know, tested on individuals, and they are derived right from animal tissues, from plants, from herbs, from human tissues. We have a whole, group of remedies which are called no-sodes, and we have medicines called influenzinum, which is actually derived from the influenza virus.
I
So
see.
we have that bracket of medicine. We have medicines called rheumatoid arthritis nosodes. So it's actually derived from that. So it's not as simple as people kind of think that, oh, Mita Goli and oh, like, but there's a lot of science and there is a lot of everything is well certified, well verified, and I don't think anybody should really doubt the science and call it pseudo. I really don't think, because, sorry to say, but ignorance, I mean, they need to really kind of look at this science, look at any other alternate medicine, uh, you know, definitely with a broader outlook and
Hmm.
be a little more accepting.
Okay. Then these medicines are sweet. Then how do our diabetics given? How are they given these?
Okay. So again, the pills are just the medium. They are the via media. Our medicines are made, I mean, in the form of their liquid dilution. Now, these liquid dilutions is not easily dispensable. You can't keep taking drops all the time, or you can't give it to a little baby. You know, so we use these sugar pills. They are nothing to do with glucose. So if you even take a whole bottle of pills at one go and we do a blood sugar test, your levels are not high, or they're untouched. So these are made out of milk sugar. They're made out of lactose, which is got from New Zealand. So they are purest and they have nothing. In fact, we treat diabetes and we use the same biomedia, the same sugar. So basically, they are not sugar pills. It's a different kind of composition. So nothing to do with diabetes. It doesn't elevate the levels or anything like
That's
that.
great. That's great. And I would like to ask you, what are the challenges you have faced in your personal practices?
Good question. A lot of challenges, a lot of these myths and doubts that people have. A lot of challenges sometimes I've seen is from the family. Today there's so many, if it's a mother, like, a mother of a child, who wants the child to start homeopathic treatment. I've always seen a reservation from the family, probably from the spouse, lot of fears, no, 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 how can you do homeopathy? No, this is that, people use steroids. There's always, I mean, most of the patients, when they leave, that's their first question: doctor, can we ask you one question? I hope you're not using steroids. I hope this is not addictive. Are we going to kind of be lifelong dependent? Cases of hypo and hyperthyroidism, we've been able to wean off individuals, from L-toxins and stuff like that. So if ours is also going to be lifelong, then how are we different? So that's where homeopathy plays a very important, is where we treat the root cause. We need to know
Hmm.
why that manifestation has occurred. We need to treat it and we cure it at the root level.
Okay.
So a lot of challenges. I mean, to answer a lot. And it sometimes, but touch wood, I would kind of, give them their dues to patients, all respective patients. I mean, then they develop the faith, like it's like when your work speaks, then you know that, okay, now he's kind of understood the concept.
And also
So
when
that's
it's
where
work,
we develop a lot of, it's very interactive. We talk to a patient, we talk to the individual, we try and win them over, speak out, speak out your problems. And I'm sure Sandeep ji will agree that half your problems are, done when you just, it might be the silliest of things, but it's just that trigger in your mind all the time. So it's a bond that we develop, and then lo behold.
Can I intervene, Sonia?
sure.
Before you ask your last question, I want to ask,
Yes.
there's a question from the floor. Is there anything like overdose of homeopathy medicines? And how does it affect?
No,
No?
there's nothing like an overdose. No. We are a very safe and sure system of medicine. So
So
there's
if
no
you're
overdose.
cured and you still continue taking that particular remedy, like
So
say Nitrax vomica or any biochemic tissue salts, then
yeah.
those will not affect
No,
adversely?
they don't. No, not at all. So again, thanks to Dr. Hahnemann who discovered the science, our remedies are very well absorbed by the system. The body knows exactly how much to absorb and how much to expel. So everything are within its parameters. So there's no overdose at all.
So
And
all excess
we,
is
in
taken out.
fact, I'm sorry, yes,
All
yes.
excess is taken out by
Absolutely.
the
In the
body.
form, yes, in the form of perspiration, in the form of, all in your excreta, in, all different forms, it is expelled and the body takes in what it is required. So again, we believe, or what we try and do is that the body should be in its original performing condition. So we restore the natural performance of the body
Okay.
in all, in all, I would say, in right from your circulatory system to your endocrine to your digestive. So it looks after all systems.
Fantastic. Okay, Sonia, please go
And
ahead.
I would like to know, has homeopathy has any treatment for cancer?
uh, yes, we do have very good treatment. There are a lot of homeopaths who've had very good results, very reputed doctors, very long experienced doctors. But I don't treat cases which are very advanced for my own personal reasons, because I just feel, probably it's my own inhibition. Um it's I just find it difficult to give too much hope. When we know that, okay, there's not much left, then we do, I mean, I do give treatment just for simple palliation, or, like keep the system going, a little pain free, overall general tonics, like, for the patient not to feel depressed and low, a little more energetic. But early stages, yes, we can treat very well. Again, post chemo, homeopathy works very well. I've got so many patients taking homeopathy, especially during their chemo, because of the side effects that they go through. And also, let me tell you, I mean, if the right remedy is given, we've seen the difference that if an individual has been advised, probably 6 or 8 sessions of chemo, it has definitely come down to probably 3 and 4.
Okay, that's great.
That's
Yeah.
very
So
good.
it's had very good results. Yeah.
That's nice.
Sonia, any more questions?
No, thank you. Thank you
That's
so
it?
much. Thank you,
Anita,
Anita.
you have one
Mm,
question to go?
I do, obviously personally related, and therefore menopausal symptoms. What are the ones that you would consider easily treatable, and then are there those that, like your hormonal issues, you've got very high cortisols, you've got, little or no progesterone left. How does homeopathy play a role in something like this?
Again, every condition related to pre and post and menopause, very good results.
Okay.
Yeah, very
All right.
good results. So right from mood fluctuations to, hormonal imbalances, to your hot flashes, to anything and everything. A lot of women go through depression,
Yes.
yeah, a lot of
Insomnia.
everything to do with that whole phase of life. We've had very good results. And again, like I said, it's made to order, so we need to kind of know what exactly are the issues, how young or old is the patient, those kind of things, like early menopause sets in, so we need to know those kind of
Does that help?
conditions that they, oh yes,
Does
definitely.
it helps that
Yeah,
you come in your, preconditions as early as possible, obviously. So that would be good
absolutely.
for women to do. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay,
doctor.
thank you, dear.
Jim, do you
Okay,
want
before I end the show, I have one or two questions, Anita. This is between you and me. Does Sandeep have any last question to ask before I?
I can I just say, this I think is very important. Talking of mind and body, since that was our topic. Sandeep ji
Exactly,
has
that's what
this,
I'm coming to.
yeah. So he has this very good, and it's really stuck to me. So this is out of my personal. There's no endorsement, but I'm just sharing my own personal experience. It's what
Yeah.
is called this 2 minute Maggie noodle thing. I mean,
Okay.
you have to hear it from him. It's a
Okay.
game changer. Sandeep, I will
After
take
I
this
ask you
off.
one question, we'll put Sandeep on the line. I need to know uh, if somebody comes to you for sleep insomnia problem. Now, I would like to know how many kind of therapies are available. Do you prescribe one therapy or one medication or whatever you call it to that person, or you will go and evaluate different kind of therapies for different kind of conditions? And if so, how many cases are there of sleep problems?
So insomnia is a little different. Sleep disorders is a little different. So to answer your question, again, like I said, we need to know the individual as a whole. So depending on what his current past, whether he has any future anxieties, any fears, all that we take into consideration. And then we kind of give what are called constitutional remedies. I personally don't believe in giving too many remedies at one time. We do tend to change it or tweak it a little bit. And talking of various therapies, I would say things like yoga, meditation, just these basic, sleep hygiene, like I spoke of. I think if one kind of looks into all these, I'm sure you can get a good night's sleep. There's no question about it. And again, you need to, it's a lot to do with the mind. Like you have to tell yourself that no, it's time that I have to put my brain to sleep. I have to rest. It's all that conflict which goes on. There are a lot of people, who say, oh, mine, I just don't want to sleep because I'm not going to get sleep. It's that conflict or that anxiety, like I'm dreading sleep because I'm not going to get sleep. Let's
Would you
break it
be?
there itself.
Yeah.
Positive affirmations help. Light music, all these kind of things definitely help.
Would you be
But
able
again,
to?
too many cooks spoil the broth. So I just feel what, the instinct of the patient or what is best suited to that individual is what needs to be done.
Would you be able to say, prescribe a medicine ballpark common to all
No,
problems? I mean,
no,
general
no,
sleep
no,
problems like
no,
Dux vomica or something
no,
to that effect?
no, no.
No.
We do have certain mother tinctures which are like off the shelf, but then they'll just probably be like, complementing the actual remedy. But there's no, what may suit you will not suit Anita, may not suit Sandeep. By meaning suit, it's not that it's going to cause any adverse effect, but it's not, your remedy will not give the same sleep to Sandeep ji. His remedy is totally different because he's vegetarian, or because his state of mind is different, or because he's probably gone through something traumatic in his life. In your case, it may be disturbed due to some metabolical irregularities. So everything is very different. There's no common remedy which we can say like, okay, you take an Ativan, or you take a Larpose, or you take one of these so-called known allopathic drugs for sleep. No, we don't have such.
Okay. I think Sonia has got one last question before we pass the floor to Sandeep. Sonia, go ahead and ask your question.
Yes. I wanted to ask you, why should people choose homeopathy over other systems like allopathy, Ayurveda?
Or naturopathy.
Yeah, or naturopathy.
I don't think it's about choosing over. Like I said, every science has its limitations, So a very active case of tuberculosis, or like we spoke of COVID, at that time you need the conventional treatment. You need the oxygen. Or highly elevated levels of sugar. Somebody who's on insulin, I can't stop the insulin. Juvenile diabetes. I can't say no, like stop your insulin and only get on to homeopathy. So, like I said, we need to exactly gauge what is right for that individual at that time. We need to look at all sciences, hand in hand. One will complement the other. So it's not about choosing one science over the other. And then again, I feel it's the faith and the rapport you develop with your own, physician, be it a homeopath, be it a naturopath, be it anybody. I think faith and your confidence again plays a lot of importance.
Nice. Okay.
Hey.
Thank you.
So
Very well.
can we pass the floor to Sandeep now? Would you like to tell us what you have to guide people in the next few minutes before we close?
Thank you, Mr. Dayal. And Anita ji and Sonia ji, you are all welcome to attend any of my sessions. You can just WhatsApp me and I will send you the Zoom invite. And this is invitation. See, we are human beings, we have a body and we have a mind, right? Yeah. We must understand, body has only one tense, present tense. But your mind has three: future tense, past tense, present tense. And that is the problem. So the mind is always away from your body, wandering all the time. And most of the time, because we all are educated people, we are more in future. And since future is unknown, it will create insecurities, fears, competition, and many other negative emotions in you. So we are just doing 2 minutes meditation because people are always in a hurry. They say, we don't have time, we don't have time. So can you give us a 2-minute therapy? That is why I call it Maggie meditation. Because in my childhood, there used to be a small advertisement, Maggie, 2 minutes. And people are always fond of 2 minutes, So the first part of this 2-minute meditation, the first minute, we are going to increase the tempo of our breathing. All right. And the second part of this meditation, we are just going to exhale as if today it is our 50th birthday and we have to blow 50 candles. And the third part will follow automatically. Why? Your body is in present tense always. Your mind is in future or past or present. But along
Yes.
with your body, your breathing is always in present tense.
Present. Yeah.
So if you just focus on manual breathing method, your mind will also compulsorily come to the present tense. And hence, you feel silence. Of course, that silence will remain for another 10, 15 minutes. Again, you go back to your mobile phone. Again, you go back to your laptop. Again, you go back to news channels, Netflix. Again, you disturb. But I have read somewhere, take holiday every day, okay, and make your life happy. I say take holiday every 1 hour. Every 1 hour, invest 5 minutes, calm down, relax your nervous system, bring a smile to your brain, bring smile to your lungs, and go back to your work. You will be very creative, you will be very innovative, you will be very efficient, you will be very productive with this Maggie meditation. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm just going to be your orchestra conductor. I will say inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. And at one point of time, I will just go for inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale.
Okay.
And then I will say stop, but don't stop your breathing. That means this stage is over. And the next stage is going to be inhale by nose, exhale by mouth, just 3 rounds and close your eyes. And let us do this magic. And if you think your mind is less number of thoughts per minute or zero, just give me a thumbs up like this. All right?
Yeah.
Ready? You can remove your specs, close your eyes, bring all your awareness to the tip of your nose, and just inhale manually by nose, exhale by nose. Start. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. You have any question, Mr. Dayal?
Yeah, I wish to know how long will this take, because
Only 1 minute and the
okay,
another next
yeah, you
1 minute.
have it.
So total 2
Okay,
minutes.
go ahead.
Ready? Start. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Like a steam engine. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Come on, faster. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. 1, 2, 1, 2. Stage 2. Inhale by nose, exhale by mouth. Only 3 rounds. Try to exhale more than 10, 15, 20 seconds. Second round. Inhale by nose. And final round. Inhale by nose. Now close your eyes and simply be aware of your mind. Watch your mind without making analysis, interpretation, or judgment. Just watch your thoughts. They come, they go. Your breathing is normal. And just 30 seconds. When you are mentally absolutely relaxed, there is a possibility that you can connect to Supreme Soul. Just today, how we have connected through internet, there is an inner net. So your soul, there is a possibility to connect with the server or the Supreme Soul. If you mentally become zero, if you drop your identity, if you drop your conditioning, if you drop all, open your eyes.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Thank you very much, Sandeep. I'm sure the viewers and at least our panel speakers are all smiles. I've never seen them smile so much. I would like to thank you, our guests of honor, Anita and Sandeep
Thank
and
you.
Anita Bamri
Namaskar.
and Sonia Manwani. So I'll end today's show with a small mantra and wish for all of you. It says Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavattu. That means auspicious be unto all. Sarve Sham Shantir Bhavatu, perfect peace unto all. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu, fullness be unto all. And Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu, that is, prosperity be unto all. With this, I wish all of you good luck and Julelal and God bless and hope to see you sometime again.
Jai
God bless.
Jhunelal.
Thank you
Hari
all.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Take
you.
care. See you
Thank
soon.
you.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you again.
Bye bye.
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 Thanks.